Performance Life with me, Kayode Kolade. It's great to have you here. This is the show where we talk about the tools, tips, strategies, and skills to help you and I be those high performers that God has created us to be. And every Friday, like this, between 5:30 p.m. and 6:36 p.m. West African time, we always go live like this in this high performance community. And I'm so glad and excited to be here again this wonderful and beautiful Friday, the second Friday in the month of February. Just such a great and awesome privilege to be here. How are you doing, there, high performer? How are you doing? How was your week? I hope your week went well. I hope you had a very productive and profitable week. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Welcome to this live session where we come and we cheer ourselves on, we encourage ourselves, talk to ourselves about how the previous week has been, and strategize and encourage ourselves for the upcoming week. And so it's so great to have you here. Welcome and thank you for joining. If this is your first time, every time we come on live like this, we always do our high performance review for the week, which is simply three things. What we are grateful for this week, the lesson that we are learning this week, and what we are looking forward to in the upcoming week. That's usually our high performance review every time we come on live like this. And I'll go first. I'm grateful for another opportunity to be here with you in another live session. So grateful to God for that. The lesson that I'm learning this week is the Wealthy Entrepreneur Code, which I'm going to be talking about in a couple of minutes. So you want to hang around for that, bring out your paper, your notebook, and take notes for that. And then what I'm looking forward to in the upcoming week is the Presentation and Communications Bootcamp. I've been talking about that for a while now, and this is your opportunity, right? The distance between who you are right now, who you can become in your career, your business, your relationships, is your ability to communicate. And so this is the first time I'm doing something like this, a special 2-day boot camp where I'm going to be doing a deep dive, to help you master that skill of communication and presentation. This is why every Friday like this, I'm committed to making sure that I show up live like this in the high performance community to do a live session like this with you. And this is going to be the opportunity for me to share with you the things that I've learned so far on my own journey, just working at it and working at it to the level that I am today, because I know mastering that skill, taking that your ability to communicate and present to a whole new level, you will open up new doors for you in your life, open up new doors for you in your career and your business. That's why you need to be part of that presentation and communication skills bootcamp. It's coming up at the end of this month. You can just send me a DM on Instagram. Just send the word mastery to me on Instagram so that I can let you know the details so that you can be part of that event. So for me, that's it. That's my own high performance review. 3 things: what I'm grateful for, the lesson that I'm learning this week, and what I'm looking forward to in the upcoming week. What's yours? Hey, hi, Gabri. Great to have you here. Thank you. Hello, and thank you for joining. What's your own review? What was this week like for you? Please type it in the comments. I will really want to know, what are you grateful for this week? What is the lesson that you learned this week? It could be in your job, your business, your relationship, at home, wherever. What is the lesson that you learned this week? And then what are you looking forward to in the upcoming week? If you are a sports person, specifically if you are a football fan, for football fans here in Nigeria, we're all excited about the Super Eagles qualifying for the finals in the AFCON competition that is ongoing at the moment. So I'm sure perhaps maybe that's what you are grateful for. You are grateful for the fact that our country, Nigeria, qualified for the finals for the AFCON football competition that is ongoing. So let me know, type it right there in the comments. I really want to know from you what you're grateful for. What's that lesson that you're learning? And what are you looking forward to in the upcoming week? What's that goal, that specific goal you would like to achieve? Remember, I'm always here for you. Let's work together on it. My handle on Instagram is at Kayode Kolade. You can always send me a DM there. Let's work together and make those goals happen. So very quickly, I said I'm going to be talking about just for a very short, for a few minutes, I'm going to be talking about the Wealthy Entrepreneur Code. That's what I'm going to be talking about, the Wealthy Entrepreneur Code. That's what I'm going to be sharing. And let me start by saying that I think that was a couple of days ago, or maybe perhaps a few weeks ago, I was reminded of a beautiful scene from the movie Troy. I don't know if you've seen the movie Troy, the 2004 American movie. Will I call it American now? But you know, the movie Troy, if you see the movie Troy, please just type yes in the comments so that I know that I'm not alone. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Troy starring Brad Pitt, starring Eric Bana, starring Orlando Bloom, based on the okay, yes, awesome. Thank you, Rayla, for sharing. Just based on the Greek war, the Athenian war, all those wars that happened that time, specifically in the city of Troy. And there's a particular scene that I was reminded about. That scene has a lot of memes right now on the internet, and it's the scene where a young messenger, a young boy, is sent by the king to summon Achilles, played by Brad Pitt, to come and help them fight in the war. So the young boy gets to where Achilles, played by Brad Pitt, is and says, "Oh, I've been summoned to come. I was sent, sorry, to summon you to the battlefront because we need you. You are our champion. You are our number one warrior. We need you at the battlefront to help us win this battle." And as Achilles is, putting on his armor and everything, climbs his horse and collects his shield from the little boy says to him and says, "Wow, I must tell you that the Thessalonian that you are going to fight is the biggest man I've ever seen. I promise you, I wouldn't want to fight him." That's what the young boy was saying to Achilles. And in such a breathtaking moment, Achilles, as Brad Pitt now looks down at the boy from his elevated position on the horse and looks him squarely in the eye and says, "That's why nobody will remember your name." And there's a whole lot of memes on the internet right now about just that scene where different things, and then that's epic response from Brad Pitt saying, "That's why nobody will remember your name." And for me, it's just so powerful. And why do I bring that up? The reason why I bring that up is because for a while now, I found myself praying some very, very strange prayers that even I myself, I don't understand. Just finding myself praying that, how do I take on the mindset of the prophets of old, the Old Testament prophets of old that are talked about in the scriptures? Old Testament prophets like Elijah, like Elisha and all that. How do I take on that mindset of, people where problems and challenges are presented to them? Hey, Omar, great to have you. I'm doing well, Omar. How are you? Great to have you. Thank you for joining. Where challenges are brought to these people, and instead of shrinking back, instead of, just folding in and being afraid and worried for themselves or worried for the people that brought those challenges to them, instead something stirs up in them to, to deal with the problem, to deal with the challenge. Something comes up from inside them. And that's just one thing I realized, that is the same thing with Achilles in Troy, right? Why the young boy was talking about the fact that this big opposition, this big problem, I wouldn't want to face him. I would run in the opposite direction. Achilles is saying that I will run toward the problem because that's my opportunity to make my mark. And then it occurred to me that what the Greeks, the kind of people the Greeks called warriors, called champions, what the Jews will call Old Testament prophets, or what Christians will call Old Testament prophets, and all that, is what the contemporary world knows today as entrepreneurs. That's just it. Is what the contemporary world knows today as entrepreneurs. And the truth about it is that entrepreneurs are warriors. Entrepreneurs are champions. Entrepreneurs are prophets in some form, because what they are doing is that they are fighting for a better future on their behalf and on the behalf of others. And for me, that was just so eye-opening and so insightful that there's a lot that will change in our lives as high performers if we adopt that entrepreneurial mindset, where we see ourselves as champions, where we see ourselves as warriors, where we see ourselves as prophets, where we fight for a better future, fighting for a better future on our behalf and on the behalf of other people. And so for me, that's just what I want to quickly share with you today, that how do we adopt that entrepreneurial approach in our careers, in our businesses, in our relationships, in every aspect of our life? Because I promise you, that's the game changer. That's the game changer. We can't afford to be like every other person that sees all the challenges going on in the world around us, and we are just running away and we're cowering in fear. We need to pull out the things that are on the inside of us. We need to step up the solutions that we carry inside us. And so that's the thing. Hi, Vision. Great to have you here. And so that's just what I want to quickly share with you very quickly. What's the wealthy entrepreneur code? What's the wealthy entrepreneur code? And number one is the fact that the entrepreneurs see the problem. Entrepreneurs see the problem. And so that's just what it is. That just like Achilles in Troy, where the young boy was saying, this is a great problem, I wouldn't want to be fighting him, I would run in the opposite direction. The entrepreneurs don't run away from the problem. They don't avoid the problem. They don't try to escape the problem. Instead, they see the problem and they confront it. So that's just what it is, that we need to see the problem and we need to confront it. And beyond just seeing the problem, we need to see the possibilities that exist in the problem. And so that's it. And when I say entrepreneurs, I'm not just talking about the fact that you run your own business. You might be an executive working for an organization, but you need to have that entrepreneurial mindset to that job that you do, where you see the challenges that you deal with on your job and you approach it with an entrepreneurial mindset, where you see the challenges and instead of running away from the challenge, instead of complaining about the challenge, you ask yourself, what are the possibilities that exist right here inside this challenge? And so that's just what it is, that entrepreneurs see the problem, they see the possibilities that exist right there in the problem, that exist right there in the challenges. And so right now, it's going beyond that fact. If you're an executive working for an organization where, you just do the things that you are assigned to do. Now you need to start looking beyond the things that you are assigned to do and to begin to ask yourself the question that what are the real issues that your supervisors and your bosses are dealing with, and how can you help them deal with it? Instead of passing the buck to somebody else, it's time for us to take responsibility of all those challenges that we see. The problem that you readily identify, what I'm going to say to you is that the problem you readily identify is proof of the solution that you carry inside you to that particular challenge or to that particular problem. So, but right now, it's about changing the mindset of saying, instead of looking at this thing as a big problem and running away from it, this is your opportunity. This is my opportunity to make our mark, to make our difference because of these problems and these challenges that are facing us all over the world today. And so that's what it is. Number two thing about the wealthy entrepreneur code is that not only do they see the problem and see the possibilities in the problem, but they show the problem. They show the problem. And this is what I mean. It is one thing for somebody to have a problem. It's another thing for that person to actually know that they have that problem. And that's the thing. And it's a whole other level for that person not only to know that they have that problem, but to understand the urgency of dealing with that problem. And so that's the responsibility you and I play as entrepreneurs, to help people show people the urgency of the problems that they are dealing with, the problems that they are faced with, and why it is very, very important that they deal with those issues, that they attend to those issues. That's our responsibility as entrepreneurs. I remember this anecdote I heard a little while back. It's about this man who went to see his pastor, to tell his pastor and to just talk to his pastor about how nothing was working in his life. And the pastor invites him into his office and says, okay, no problem, fine, come into my office, let's talk. What I want you to do is that I want you to play a game with me. So the pastor takes out a legal pad out of his drawer and places it on the table, and then draws a line right down the middle of the legal pad and says, okay, you know what? I want you to play a game with me. On the left-hand side of this legal pad, we are going to list out all the things that are not working in your life. While on the right-hand side of this legal pad, we are going to list out all the things that that are working and that you have going great for you. And so the man just hangs his head down with disappointment and just say, one thing I can assure you, Pastor, is that there will be nothing on the right hand side because there is nothing that is working in my life right now. And the pastor says, okay, no, don't worry, it's fine. Let's play the game. And so the pastor starts and says, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that your wife died. And the next thing is the man says, what? Where did you get that information from? My wife is not dead. My wife is alive and well. She's healthy. She's fine. She's okay. She's at home. And the pastor says, oh, I didn't know why. Then he goes to the right side and ticks that as the first point and says, oh, wife alive and well and healthy. Then the pastor continues. He said, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that your house burned down. And the man was like, what? Where did you get that information from? My house did not burn down. My house is fine. My house is okay. And then, the pastor ticks that on the right side, second point, oh, house okay, house fine. Now, I don't know at what point eventually the man got the message, but you and I know that eventually he did. He did get the message that, oh, while he thought that he didn't have anything going for him, there were a lot of things that he had going for him, but that he did not recognize. Now, for me, the lesson is that the lesson would have not hit home if the pastor had come up with that approach, that direct approach of say, you know what, you shouldn't be complaining, you shouldn't be whining, you shouldn't be talking about things like this. Instead, you should count your blessings, name them one by one. Oh, look at the fact that your wife is healthy. Thank God for that. Look at the fact that your house is not burned down. Thank God for that and all that. The lesson would have not hit home if the pastor tried that direct approach. But when the pastor took the indirect approach and came from that negative perspective of bad things that had already happened to him, guess what? Everything in the man came alive. Everything in the man came alive. He now understood the fact that, do you know what it means right now if my wife passes? He literally felt it. He felt it in the fiber of his being when he had something like that. And everything came alive. And so for me, that's just it, that many times, I remember and I heard the concept for the very first time from the movie Operation Rose the Girl by Guy Ritchie, starring Jason Statham. And they called it the power of no, the principle of going backwards to go forwards, and how that every people want what everyone wants, and that is what they cannot get. And another thing that they also want is the thing that they already have but are now faced with the threat of losing. And for me, that's just what is so powerful, that as entrepreneurs, we need to help show people the things that they are missing, the seriousness and the gravity of some of those problems that they are taking for granted in their lives. And for me, that's just what it is, that not only do we see the problem and we see the possibilities, it's our responsibility to show that problem to other people, to help them understand the consequences of their action or inaction with dealing with that problem. That, for me, that's so powerful. The third thing about the wealthy entrepreneur code is that they solve the problem. So we said they see the problem, they show the problem, and then the third thing is that they solve the problem. And this is where, for me, it's very, very important that you and I recognize as entrepreneurs, because of most times when we are faced with those challenges that we are dealing with in our work, in our business, in the economy, and in our lives, many times we are so carried away by how big the problem is that we lose sight of the things that we really have, of the solution that we carry on the inside of us. And so for me, that's just it, to remind you that no matter how big the challenge you are faced with right now, you carry a solution inside you. You carry a solution inside you. You remember the epic story of David, right? As big as Goliath was, it was a small stone that brought him down. Now, for me, the principle is this, that it's usually not the size of the solution that matters. It's the size of the problem that you are targeting that solution towards. And for me, it's just so powerful that salt doesn't have to be as much as the food to add flavor to it. So you can imagine you are cooking this big pot of food, and then you imagine, okay, because the pot of food is this big, then the salt has to also be this big to add flavor to the food. You and I know eventually what's going to happen if you do something like that. That food is going to be messed up. Nobody is going to be able to eat it. But eventually, what happens is that because despite how big the size of the pot of food that you are cooking is, it's just usually a small amount of salt that changes the entire dynamic of the food. And so you remember that you and I, we are the light of the world. You and I, we are the salt of the earth. What is important is the solution that we carry inside us, and the fact that you apply that solution to whatever challenge that you are confronted with. What you don't use, you eventually lose. And so my question to you is that it's not about the size of the problem you are faced with. I know that if I give you from now till next year, you will be able to tell me and describe all the difficult things that you are faced with. My own question to you is that with all those things that you are faced with, are you releasing the solution inside you? Are you using the things that you have? Are you using the things that you have in your arsenal? Are you applying yourself to that particular problem and that challenge that you are facing? Not coming from the place of, a defeatist mentality, but coming from that place that you are a solution bearer, you are a solution carrier, you have what it takes, you are salt. Your job is to go into the world and release your flavor into it. It's very important. The final thing about the entrepreneurial wealth code is that they sell the problem. So we said they see the problem, they show the problem, they solve the problem, and then finally they sell the problem. This is very, very important. They sell the problem. My question to you is that how valuable is solving that problem to the people that you lead? That problem that you have identified, how valuable is solving that problem to those people that you lead? In the organization that you work for, that problem that you have identified in your company and your organization, how valuable is solving that problem to your boss, to your line manager, to your supervisor? And so if you have identified that solving this problem is very important, it's valuable to solve this problem, my second question to you is that, are you communicating that value to the people that you lead? Are you communicating that value to your line manager? Are you communicating that value to your supervisor or to your boss? Because trust me, they can't know what is going on in your head. They can't know the things that you carry except you communicate to them, except you educate them. And that's really what selling is all about. Selling is simply education. Educating the people that you lead, educating the people that are around you about the problems that they are confronted with, educating them about what they stand to lose if they do not deal with that problem, educating them about the solution to that problem, and how you came about your journey finding that solution. And then finally, what makes your own solution different from all the other solutions out there. That's what it's all about. And so the thing about it is that this is an education that we must do consistently. We must do with high frequency. We must do with high intensity. Are you doing that? Am I doing that? Or did you just do it once and stop because you put yourself out there and no one listened to you? And no one paid you any mind. No one gave you their attention. Nobody got the message you were trying to pass across. And so you told yourself, you know what, look, this thing is not going to work. And then you stopped. And so for me, remember that this solution that you carry, this value that you have to add, it's your personal responsibility. It's a sacred trust that has been put in your care. If you don't release it, no one else will. And so it's very important that you keep working at it, you keep going at it, Keep working on your ability to communicate and educate people about this value. But one thing I can assure you is that never stop. Never stop. Never stop. Never stop talking about it. Never stop educating people about it. Never stop communicating about it. You come online. Never stop communicating about it. As an executive, you work in that organization. Never stop communicating about it. You spoke to your first line manager about the problem and about that solution that you have, that value that you can add to the company. They paid you no mind. They were uncooperative. Instead of taking their no as the final answer, remember that no only simply means next opportunity. And so your next opportunity is that my wife likes to say, she used to always say, and that's pidgin English in Nigeria, every oga gets him own oga. Which simply means every boss has his own boss. So if you say it to the first boss and he's not listening, he's paying you no mind, what it simply means is that take it to the next boss. In fact, many times the reason why we are struggling at the level that we are is because we are dreaming too small. We are aiming too low. The people that you are targeting and that you are looking at as the people that should be cooperative and to work together with you, I mean, not the people that you need. You may need to dream higher. You may need to think higher. You may need to look beyond those particular people and start saying, oh, who are the people that are the real decision makers that these people must listen to when they talk? And to go all out and to take your solution to them, to sell your solution to them, to learn how it takes. If right now you are struggling with confidence, you are struggling with inferiority complex, and putting yourself out there, then you need to work at it. But by all means, don't stop. By all means, don't stop. As you are working at it, keep putting that value, keep putting that solution that you carry out there. It's so important. One thing I'll keep telling you is that many times, because of all the things that we are confronted with, we always want to feel like we don't have anything valuable to add. I want to assure you that that's the biggest lie ever. You have something valuable to add. You have something tangible to add to this world, to your work, to your business, to the people around you, to the environment where you are. You need to always remember that you are a warrior, you are a fighter, you are a prophet, you are an entrepreneur. You don't back down from battles. You don't back down from challenges. You go head on into the challenges. It doesn't matter if you don't have money in your bank account right now. You might not have money, but you have value to add. You have value to add. Be skillful at what you do. Value the relationships around you. Innovate, get creative. Make sure that you do everything that you do with boldness and with excellence. All these things that I've listed are things that you have and that you can make use of without having money in your bank account. You can improve your skill. You can be professional at what you do without having money in your bank account. Yes, you say, okay, I need money to learn all the professional courses, but start from where you are. Start from where you are. Being skillful, first of all, is a mindset. It's a mindset. Before going after all the certifications where you need to pay a very heavy price and pay money to get all those certifications, it's first of all being skillful, being a professional at what you do, be it as an executive or be it the fact that you run your business. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Valuing relationships, respecting relationships, honoring people. It's a mindset. It's a character trait. It has nothing to do with the money in your bank account. Being innovative and being creative is something that you have right now inside you that you can stir up. Courage, excellence, they are all valuable characters that you have, and you can add all these things to the people around you. Do that thing that you do with excellence. No more zoning out, no more going through the motions, no more just doing the bare minimum to get by. This is the time to level up your game. This is the time to raise the bar, to raise your standard in that thing that you do, be it in your work or in your business. And so for me, that's just what it is, that it's all about having that mindset, having that entrepreneurial mindset, unlocking that wealthy entrepreneur code. That's what it means to be a wealthy entrepreneur. That's the way that we enjoy greater wealth and greater abundance in our life and in our business. And so that's what it is. See the problem, show the problem, solve the problem, sell the problem, And by all means, do this with skill, do this with value, with relationships, valuing the relationships around you. Ask for help for people that have gone ahead of you and know how to do these things. Do it innovatively, do it creatively, do it with boldness and with courage, and then finally do it with excellence. That's what it is. And for me, I just see doors that you have never imagined before are opening up to you to new levels in your business, new levels in your career. That same supervisor that is right now giving you a hard time, all of a sudden you are now his own supervisor. All of a sudden you are now his own boss. The same people that you were chasing and pursuing long time, and trying pursuing them with everything within you to help make sure that they see the value that you carry. They are the ones now turning around and pursuing you because they know how valuable you are, and they know how valuable the solution that you carry on the inside of you. And so that's it from me. Just brief, short, sharp, unlocking the wealthy entrepreneur code. That's how we enjoy greater wealth, greater abundance as those high performers that God has created us to be. So you have any questions, please feel free. Make sure you drop it right there in the comments. I'll be right here to answer them for you. Any time of the day you drop those questions, I'll make sure that I answer them. You can also go on Instagram and send me a DM at Kayode Kolade. Whatever questions that you have, be it on today's topic or be it anything that you are trying to achieve, be it in your career, your business, your relationships, right here, I'm your guy. Let's make it happen and let's do it together. So that's it from me for today. Thank you so much for joining. Look out for all the great stuff that are coming out in over the course of the weekend. New long form video coming out, my newsletter coming out, all the posts coming on the community tab right here on YouTube. Just make sure that you engage with them. And part of engaging with them is share these things with somebody. That's what we do as entrepreneurs, right? Instead of sharing all the discouraging reports that are going around, all the things that cause fear, that cause worry, that cause anxiety, share this positive stuff that will encourage somebody, that will move somebody forward on their own journey, on their own entrepreneurial journey, and their own high performance journey. They will always be grateful to you that they did. So share this live session, share the videos coming out, share the newsletters coming out, and I definitely always appreciate you for your support, for being here, for being part of this high performance community. You are awesome, and you are the best. Thank you so much. Do have a lovely weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your time with your family. As you go about doing all the things that you need to do, I pray for speed for you. Yeah, you're welcome, Rahila. Thank you for being here. I pray for speed and for grace for you, uncommon success in everything that you go out to do, uncommon wealth and progress for you. That's my prayer for you. Talk to you very, very soon. Your greatness is very sure.